so I want to ask you one piece of advice. If someone came to you and said, give me some really good advice about starting a company, doing design, living a full life. So this is a wide open question. What's your best advice?
Well, we all are on this earth to do something, and we all have to find our purpose. And usually it's through our heroes that we see maybe some part of ourselves. And so for me, I really encourage students and various people who come up to me for advice. When they're going to start a company, I say, go and work with your heroes. Go learn from them. There's so much, they need great, passionate people behind them to help them do what they do. They will also mentor you, and you'll be able to be that next generation as well, just like General Magic embraced me when I was just a little nobody. And so I think that's really, really important. That's how we stand on the shoulders of each generation, is but go by working with our heroes.
Find your heroes. Thank you for that gift. Dave.
I think my best advice, entrepreneurial advice, is to start.
Wear sunscreen.
Yeah, I think that most people, I get a lot of young entrepreneurs. They come to me and they say, what do I do? I have this idea, and I've been thinking about it for 3 years, or 4 years, or 10 years. And most people just don't start. And I think that starting is the most important step. And once you make that step, then what you have to do is trust the process of entrepreneurship to teach you the lessons. And I think that's the most important lesson, is that once you cross over that barrier, you begin to learn so many lessons, and it's such an immense amount of personal growth. It's a totally different path, as it were, right? And I think that's the most important thing, is that you start and then trust the process.
Trust the force. Mike.
Yeah.
I really love both of those pieces of advice. I'll narrow mine around more about product, building great products. So especially for consumer markets. So I have something I call the mom test. And I always talk to our team about when you're sitting down at Thanksgiving and your mom asks, so what are you doing? What are you building? And if you start to give an answer and she's her eyes are glazing over and she doesn't really understand what you're saying, you're off to a bad start. And so there's 3 parts of the mom test. When you describe what you're doing, she needs to say, oh, that's really cool. I'd like to use that. So she needs to understand it. She needs to want to actually use it. And then she has to actually be able to use it. And if you think about it, there are very few products that pass all 3 of those tests. And so that's one that I talk about with my team.
Delight Mom.
The mom test.
I would say for me, for somebody who starts, to start where they're really passionate is really key. I mean, Tony and I used to go to, dance clubs and concerts and listening to music all the time. I mean, he was all about music, and so it's not surprising that you ended up, creating the iPod. I mean, you had it in your head for probably 10 years before it even came out. And I would say that's, just find what drives you, and and use the other 2 pieces of advice there, and you'll get there. If you do those 3 or 4 things, you're in good shape.
Thank you, each of you, for those gifts. I'm going to remember them.